3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. This is Renegade Rousey, and this is the Left Hook Boxing Show. And not the most entertaining of fights that we had tonight, but clearly a dominant effort by Floyd Mayweather. He simply dominated Mosley, and it's something that I did not think would happen. Of course, I wasn't going to be surprised if Mayweather won, but I did not think he would win in this dominant fashion, and he did exactly that. He just has the ability, seemingly, to neutralize the things that make other fighters great. He did it to Marquez, and we said, hey, he did it to Marquez because he's the bigger man. Why don't you go, Floyd? Why don't you go pick on somebody your own size? Well, he did basically the same thing to Mosley as he did to Marquez. He neutralized his abilities, and it was just a tremendous effort, and he really showed me something tonight, and he showed me really that he was a warrior. He went about the fight in surprising fashion. I thought he was going to move about the ring and kind of score and connect when he had the opportunities, but he didn't do that at all. He went in there and pretty much stood toe-to-toe with Mosley, or fought at a real close distance. He got himself into a little trouble there in the second round, took a couple of good right hands, and it looked like Mosley was going to get the momentum and maybe take charge of the fight. But the exact opposite happened. I mean, how often do you see that when something good happens to somebody in the ring, and it's like almost like it was something bad that happened? And that seemed to be what happened to Mosley. The announcers were saying he looked tense, and then he had this great second round, and then after that, it was nothing but Mayweather. He won every round after that. And it was just surprising. And, I got to give it to Mayweather. He stood in there when he got hit by those right hands. He did some clinching, and then he got through the round, and he went back to his corner. And his trainer, Roger Mayweather, I think gave him just, real pointed advice. Hey, stop standing toe-to-toe with this guy. Box him. He cannot match your skills. And it seemed like Floyd Mayweather, while he was sitting there, despite going through a difficult round, he kind of laughed it off. It seemed like his confidence never waned. He believed in himself, and he went about and just did his job. Very workmanlike effort. It looked like, the other surprising thing, it looked like that Mayweather could have knocked Mosley out if he really would have pressed the issue. But, and that's the surprising thing. We would have thought if there would have been a knockout in this fight, it would have come from Mosley. But Mayweather looked like the stronger fighter, looked like he had the ability, if he wanted to knock Mosley out. So, just basically a tremendous effort from Mayweather. Got to give him the credit. Now, we just, Mosley, I think he put forth the best effort. He didn't look that good, but the great fighters just have a way of making other fighters look bad. And that's what happened tonight. There's no other way to say it. Floyd Mayweather is just a far superior fighter, at least on this night, than Shane Mosley. But take nothing away from Shane Mosley. He's had a great career. I think it's time, to hang him up at this point, unless he needs some money. I mean, go ahead, leave the game with your health intact and with your legacy secured. You're a Hall of Famer. You put on a lot of great shows for the fans. We appreciate all the effort you've given. It just wasn't your night, man. And that happens. And, Floyd Mayweather proved to be a great fighter. Now, the next thing that we all turn our mind to is the fight that we hope can get made between Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. And it was pretty pessimistic there in the post-fight interview with Larry Merchant, when Larry Merchant was asking Floyd about that fight, and basically he said, well, I'm not going to fight a fight unless Manny Pacquiao agrees to the drug test. So, I don't know. I don't know what Manny Pacquiao thinks, if his mind has changed. I know there was a lot of bad blood within negotiations, but hopefully this fight can get made. And the one glimmer of hope that I had was that Floyd Mayweather when he talked about with Larry Merchant about the style that he chose to use for this fight, the offensive type style that we're not really typically accustomed to seeing Mayweather use. When he talked about that and he answered Merchant about the question, why did he fight like that? Mayweather said, I fought like that because I wanted to please the fans. That's what they wanted to see. So, we always criticize Mayweather for being about the money and all this, but I think there's more to Mayweather than that. I think he cares about his legacy. I think it's very important to him, and I think he cares about giving a good show to the fans, and he proved that tonight. So if he's got that in his mind, I have this glimmer of hope. It's a small glimmer. I'm kind of pessimistic about the fight happening at this point after listening to what Mayweather said. But if he cares about pleasing the fans, there's no better way for him to please the fan and to pocket $30-40 million in the process than to fight Manny Pacquiao. Two great fighters that both have very good resumes, great resumes, have fought tremendous fights and fought tremendous fighters, and both have won. There's no better way than to settle this thing than to get it on in the ring. So let's hope it happens. And everybody out there, do what you can. They're listening to you. You listen to HBO and they talk about the internet forums and stuff like this. So, people are watching through this medium of the internet and YouTube. They're watching things and they care about what the fans are saying. So say your piece and let's get this fight on the table and make it happen. I hope it does. And for now, this is Renegade. I'm out. Great job, Mayweather.